What's up, everybody? It's me again, and it's time to lean in, bitch. We're here for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm with Jamie. We just watched another boring episode of Salt Lake City, but there were some moments. Jamie, how you doing today on this lovely Sunday in this orange, my favorite color?
Thank you, thank you. Hello, happy Sunday.
I know, happy Sunday. Is it raining over in? Is it raining
No,
in
it
Dallas?
was actually absolutely gorgeous. Sunny. I think the weather was like it's 70 all day,
Okay.
65, 70. So it was gorgeous. My windows have been open all day. The
I
neighbors are
hope it's
fucking up the next apartment over too. Their windows
oh,
are open as well.
it was hot here in LA
What
Friday.
is hot for y'all?
It was like 89.
Oh
We
shit.
probably
Okay.
but today it was nice. It was cool. I had my top down, my nice little bob was blowing. It was cool. So, but let's talk about the Salt Lake City. This episode, it was, it was something to watch. But I can see things are heating up. There were some moments, of course, before we get started. Be sure to like this video if you're watching right now. If you're watching later, still like this video. Thus far, thank you for all the support. You know, all the other shows, Beverly Hills, Potomac are doing well. Shout out to Kyra and Ma'am in the comments. If you're in the comments, just say hey. We'll say hey back. But let's get into the episode of I call it the Real Housewives of the real unhappy housewives of Salt Lake City because
Child, they're
that's
all
what
going
I
through
got
something.
from this episode. There was a lot of we're learning a lot about these housewives in terms of their actual marriages and their relationships.
Yeah.
Um, and hey, LJ Montgomery, how you doing? What's up? What's up? So, in this episode, we kick off with Whitney and Lisa.
Sorry.
They're in this little what is it? What do you call that? It's like is it aerobics? What do you call that? The little thing they do. I don't know what it's called, but they were doing
I
that.
don't Pilates. I
Yeah,
don't
some
know.
kind of aerobic
I was
Pilates
looking. I was like,
situation. If you know the
because it was
name, let me
fake.
know in the
It was
chat.
so
I
fake. Both
don't
of them
know.
were being so fake,
Well, you know what? I didn't get
so
fake.
fake
You
from the
thought that
jump.
they were like having. I was worried for Lisa. It was good to see Lisa in that moment. I wish they would have showed her on the actual pole versus just in the thing. But she actually was able to do the little, aerobic situation, and it was interesting. And so, we're gonna move to them later. But in the next scene, we have Mary's little spinoff. And I like to call her spinoff because honestly, every time she's on, I feel like it's her own show.
Yeah,
However, you do see her with Meredith later, and she's basically shedding more light to her and Robert Senior's marriage. Now, my thing is personally, y'all didn't get married just yesterday, Mary. So all this awkwardness that you're feeling and this like y'all are distant from don't know each other. This didn't just happen yesterday, but I guess
right.
for the purpose of TV show, they had to put it on. She wants to, shine more light to it. But what I can say is that Mary is showing more and more that she's definitely a black woman because that whole thing about don't put the chicken on the
Yeah.
don't put the cooked chicken on the area where you prep the chicken. That's so. I mean that should be common sense, but I know in black families we're very much so like don't do that. That's nasty. So, um, how you feel about her and Robert Senior's relationship? And you can kind of skip
Well,
around. You can talk a little about
just
the conversation with
to
Meredith.
start, to start, Mary, every scene that she's in continues to look amazing. And I don't know if she just like saw herself from last season or if she got
Mhm.
somebody on the payroll who is understanding her a bit better, but even her clothes seem to be a bit more muted.
That's true.
That
That's
even
so true.
even though they're a little kooky, they're
Mhm,
still very merry.
mhm.
They're not mismatched with 15 different patterns all as one. Mary actually looks at least 10 years younger this season than she did last season. She looks amazing.
He does. He
But
does.
that little conversation, I mean, that's given her a lot, but good for Mary. That little conversation, it wasn't a surprise to you and I. Last season, we talked about how, I mean, the marriage, for lack of a better term, was an arranged marriage. It seemed always more like a business agreement than it did a marriage. And I mean,
Yeah.
there were some discrepancies on between the way she said they got married and some people in the congregation or whatever. The blogs were
Right.
saying a
Right.
lot of stuff before. So the fact that she's saying like I don't know what's going on in my marriage, without my son, that's I can believe that
Right.
because I mean a dynamic between a couple changes whenever you're raising a kid and whenever you're just there. So, I mean, it's no surprise that Mary is uninterested in spending all this time with Big Rob, or what's his name? Robert Sr., Big Senior.
I call him Sinbad, but
Don't do that. Shazam. Because he's what, like 25 years older than her, 30 years older than her?
But it's not even just the age, it's just the way that they got married. Like their whole little arrangement situation, like she married her grandmother was like, I don't want him to be with nobody else. It was always weird. You know, I love Mary. It was always weird. So it's no different. Of course, this season she was a full-time housewife last season, right? But last season she didn't start out that way. And so I feel like now we got to get more of an understanding of her marriage and Robertson. And that's probably why. But it's just like Ayurveda Bay said, it is very cringy.
And I think the pandemic also exasperated that. Because I mean, when you can't go anywhere.
That's true.
When you around somebody that you already don't necessarily like, and you're around them all the time, which is why you and I don't live in the same city.
Well, that's fine. That's right. That's why we do everything virtual, because it would never work.
That's fine. But yeah, I mean, you said that. You were saying that last season, that it was just weird that you didn't get it. It was cringy, and that chicken did not look good. That chicken looked.
None of the food looked. You know, on Housewives, it's very rare that I find on these shows the food is good. You got cow burning salmon, and then it's just the food, and then what's her name, Mia, and those eggs. The Housewives, they don't know how to cook. They didn't stop cooking. The only person I can appreciate that always used to put something together when someone came over was Phaedra. She always had some guacamole and like a nice little like lemonade or like tequila. They need to stick to that, because everything else is be looking terrible. Housewives can't cook.
I'm trying to think, like, who do we know that really genuinely cooks? None of the Atlanta girls.
Nobody. I don't know one housewife, and it's showing every time. But in this case, it made it. But two things she said was, two things that was alarming to me was that she said she wishes that she could change him, and that she doesn't want to get to know him. Yeah, and I'm just like,
so it's like, where do you go from there at that point?
Right, where do you go? But she's basically saying, because I have a child with him, I don't want to break up our family, so I'm with him. That's essentially what she's saying in so many ways. Yeah. So Meredith, Meredith suggests that what about the space, and I think like the thing with Meredith is like, she was able to have a distance from her husband and kind of come back together, and they seem to work well like that. But I don't know if that's what Mary wants. Mary just doesn't want Robert Sr., and that's what it is.
Yeah, Mary wants her own house. Mary wants that goddamn house, and she wants to be alone in it. She doesn't want that man walking around behind her, breathing her air.
I don't blame her. Kenny said, I wonder, is divorce an option for Mary? It seems like it's not. It seems like she doesn't want to.
Which is odd, because she hadn't, it's not discussed. So I don't know. Was that in the terms of the marriage that her grandmother laid out, that she can't divorce that man? Or what? I don't know.
Maybe if she divorced him, grandma gonna send Jesus for Mary.
All I know is that last season, who would have thought that Meredith and her husband would have the most fully functional, like normal, happy marriage out of all of them? That
Lisa and her husband, Lisa and John seem fine.
They're not super lovey-dovey. Lisa and John both seem like, if they're like a partnership, they're great. But Lisa never seems like the kind of woman that needs a lot of coddling or a lot of physical touch. Now, Meredith's husband is very much showering her with affection, excuse me. But Lisa's a bad bitch. Don't touch me. I don't need all that shit.
I agree. I'm looking at some of the comments. Some about Mary. Ma'am said thinks she can, but it can break up the church. Charles said, I think it's more so stability for Mary. Possibly. Yeah. And then Asia, hey Asia back from Jamaica. Asia said Mary is over the Paw hubby and wants space. That's true. I mean, she want to, like Nene said, she want a big old.
Well, you know what? Mary reminds me a lot of my mom. So my mom and my stepdad separated when my mom was pushing like 50. And at the time when they separated and divorced, my mother still hasn't gotten remarried. She said multiple times she has no desire to be remarried. She goes, I was married for 25 years, 25 years.
Some people,
she says, this is my apartment. This is my home. I can do
And
whatever the hell I want to do in my
that
home.
may be what Mary is. Mary looked like Arlene said her mannequins fulfill the loneliness child. She probably won't just
She could sit and talk with them.
she probably would
She
she
don't
sit
talk
there
with
and
them
talk with the
mannequins
mannequins and play with
because her
them and
son don't talk
comb
to
their
her.
hair. She do all that with the mannequins, and
Not
I know
comb
she
their
having
hair.
a good
She
time.
needs to try to put the wigs on the mannequin to see what it would look like on her own head because sometimes they tilt a little bit or they back just a little too far. She needs practice.
So then another cringe moment for me was Heather trying to give her birds and the bees talk to her daughter as if her daughter ain't probably already out there getting it busted
Okay.
open. I'm just saying. I ain't talking about
Okay.
the kid, but I know that child.
Your daughter, isn't she 18 or is she getting ready to try? I know
She
she's a
is
senior.
out. She already has been way against Mormon than anything. So
Yeah.
she out there smoking a little weed. She out there
But
busting out.
she seems like such a really nice girl. Like she doesn't
Yeah,
seem
she
like
is.
she's fully like going against it. But I think she may have said this in an episode earlier or last season. I think she sees the damage that it's kind of done to her mom
Yeah.
by holding on to this religion that ultimately is not making her happy. And it's like that is absolutely not what I want for myself in any way, shape, or form. But
I
she's
mean,
still like super respectful, super like
yeah.
chill. So like good for her. Go get it in. Do what you got to do.
Uh, So then this big scene here was so we come back to Lisa and Whitney.
Oh
I
Lord.
guess I don't know if the husbands
Oh
put it
Lord.
together. I guess the husbands wanted to get them together as they saw that they were getting better,
Oh Lord.
and they go to this restaurant. And a lot. This scene gave it was this scene actually gave me a lot. It was actually when I like literally leaned in and was like trying to pay attention. And it started off cool, but I like if you notice, even before they did the little flashbacks, they were showing Lisa just was laughing with that little fake laugh. And I love Lisa, but I hate them type of laughs actually. But
She can't be fake. Like she's not one of those that you're not going to tell immediately that she's putting on a show with you. She's because
right,
she's so genuine and she says whatever's on her mind. So when she has to fake nice, like girl,
yeah,
we
right.
can see what you're doing. Oh my god, you do not like this girl at all.
So this restaurant is actually the restaurant of the caterers.
Yeah.
And I'll ask
Coincidentally,
you,
is
do
it a
you think
coincidence?
is it a coincidence?
Is it a coincidence?
And Nene says, is it a coincidence? I
Is
asked
it a
you.
coincidence?
Do you think that it was a setup?
Absolutely.
Do
Absolutely.
you think
Oh,
that it was a
absolutely.
setup for her for the like as if she like told first of all her name is Aubrey, but Whitney called her Angie because she was so
Whitney doesn't
flushed.
even know whose side she's on.
Do you think that that was also a part of the setup too?
I think Whitney or Lisa probably said, "We're going to come over there. You need to tell this girl on camera." Because Lisa also is a businesswoman. I don't think Lisa likes her reputation being fucked with. So
Right.
whether or not she did it, I think she may have
That's
had a
true.
little something to do with that lady backing out of that thing. But Lisa's not going to let you slander her on TV.
Right.
She's got too much money on the line. So I fully
Right.
believe. Plus, she's friends with that woman who owns the catering company. They're friends.
Right.
So it's no thing for her to call him up and say, "I'm going to go to your restaurant. Can you please come out and tell this girl that she's got it wrong just to clear my name?" I think she probably thought Whitney was going to be a lot stupider than Whitney is.
And that's
But
what I'm
also,
gonna
that
say.
girl was not a good actress either. That girl was
She
like,
was
"Hi, how's your
not.
night going?" By the way, Lisa didn't set it up. Okay.
Yeah,
You're
it
going to
was.
lean into that?
I feel as though so Lisa. I had this tweet. She tweeted. They both were tweeting the entire time. Whitney was calling Lisa a snake. This is on Twitter, like live while we were watching the show. And Lisa was just like Lisa said, "No setup, no surprises," insinuating that Whitney knew like where she was and where she was, who was going to be there. That's what
I
she
think
said.
Whitney did. Like, the
But
places you're going to eat
I
ahead of
don't
time.
think that she knew because I feel like when Whitney's response seemed very, I could be wrong in a judging character, but she seemed very completely not surprised, but gagged that maybe not that it was their restaurant, but maybe
But
that
that
this
that girl
girl
came
would have
over.
said, the whole Angie thing. And that's
Yeah.
why in this scene, I was like, okay, Whitney, because Whitney kind of got Lisa together. She really did. And I felt like what she was trying to say was, Lisa, don't sit here and act like you don't think this doesn't look shady to you. Whether you
Mm-hmm.
set it up or not, does this not look weird that we're at this restaurant and she comes up to us by mentioning Angie in this event? Does it not look weird? So honestly, I give Whitney some claps on that because she definitely handled it well, and she was just like, "I'm trying to calm down. I gotta do this because I don't want to." I'm like, "Well, no, girl, don't calm down. Go out, go out.
You finally given us what we want. Give it
right.
to us.
Go ahead and give us the pop out."
The thing that got me was when she's talking and getting everybody's name mixed up. The guy that randomly walked up as well, like the server or whatever, sitting there like, "Oh my god, no, this isn't a setup. I promise." I'm like, where did she come from? Where'd this guy come from? Waiting for his
Lisa has Salt Lake City
15
on lock.
minutes.
Okay, Lisa
Look,
got Salt Lake City
she's
on lock.
casting,
Lisa,
she's producing, she's the new Kyle. Watch.
she has the key, like the key that what's her name? That Karen has to Surrey County. Okay, well, Lisa has it to Park City, wherever they are in Salt Lake City. Because I'm just saying, she seems to be that girl in Salt Lake.
She's connected. As much as I enjoyed the scene, and I do think Whitney probably was really hurt. I can't help but think that when a lot of these scenes, particularly this season, are happening, they seem to be a little too convenient and a little too overproduced. I think because this is the newest franchise and they've had all of them know what's come before them.
Yeah,
I think they are all amping it up a little bit to try to make it dramatic. And what made season 1 so great was because they were all new and it was just kind of like shit. Jen Shah was the only one in on it. Yeah. Now I think everybody kind of knows optics and is trying this, and it's like they're one-upping each other. Okay, well, you're going to bring me to a restaurant and set me up. I'm going to cause a big scene and accuse you of bringing me to a restaurant to set up. And I hope it doesn't go further than that, because for me, the enjoyable part of it is where they're obviously just kind of new to it and still navigating. They jumped from this last season of Atlanta really, really quickly, and everybody's producing scenes and stuff now. I don't enjoy it that much. I mean, I'm enjoying the season. I don't enjoy when they're producing.
It was given, maybe because we've already seen it. Let's just be clear. Like, possibly. It was given the cookie lady kind of ish.
Yeah,
It was kind of given that, So I understand maybe because we've already seen it. And then like it didn't help that Whitney, I can't think of the first thing she said, but I don't know if she said is this a setup or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, or a show. She kind of like slightly broke the fourth wall in the sense of like filming, so it made it like awkward. I don't know, because Lisa, I don't know, like I don't know what she was feeling, what she was doing, but she just seemed to be like kind of like, okay, this is probably, I don't know, like it was just weird. Like seeing Lisa's reaction, she really didn't stand in it. I would have liked that she would have kind of handled Whitney, but Whitney just kind of just bulldozed the child.
Her reaction to that, I would have thought that she would have responded, Whitney, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
exactly, no. But she wasn't doing
Why
that.
are you talking? But she was, what are you? How could you even know, Whitney?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I didn't like
it. Y'all are saying
it. I'm like, all right.
The only two people that knew nothing were their husbands. The two of them sitting there as awkward as possible, trying to just like, Whitney's husband was like, can we eat? Do I just need to sit here and be quiet? Like, what do we?
The Housewives shows, they just want to eat, and the husbands are not being able to eat. I mean, you got Eddie from Potomac wanting to eat, and then
Scales' husband.
Not
poor man, that poor man. Playing skills.
Not playing skills. But yeah, like the husbands are always just like whatever. Poor John. I like John. I like John, and sometimes I like Whitney's husband. Just depends. I don't know.
They both seem like two really easygoing, just kind of laid back guys. And their women, obviously, their two wives are two very big personalities. So I think they complement each other very well. John just lets Lisa kind of do her thing. I'm going to do my thing. Good for you. I support you. Let me know when you need me to pop up. Because he was still kind of supporting her or defending her. He was like, I promise you, Whitney, this isn't it. It isn't it. He wasn't just completely staying out of it. But those poor men, they just came out to have a meal.
And did we even see? And the part that came in was she was like, "No, bring no shots. We taking no shots. Like, bring the shots."
I'm like, look,
I liked it. I was like, okay. Whitney was really flustered.
Bring this liquor. If you're acting like this without liquor,
if it had been the other way around, like Lisa was more like, I would have believed it, but I really feel like it was kind of a setup. I do feel like Lisa definitely kind of orchestrated that whole situation. Which do you now in terms of doing it to
or production?
Well, yeah, but it's like seeing that they had started moving forward. Do you feel like it set them back?
I don't think so. Not with how they left it. I mean, I think Whitney sees that girl Lisa ain't the one that you're going to be yelling at and waving your finger at, and she's not going to back down. She's not like that. Ain't her. So you either going to have to accept her at face value. I think Whitney wants to be her friend so bad that she'll be like,
but
okay,
then she
we're
goes
done.
to say,
Whitney really
this
been that
is not
offended. She
somebody
would
I
have
can
left.
trust. That's somebody I can trust. And I'm like, Whitney, you begged, borrowed, and stole to be friends with this damn girl. At this point, if you felt like you didn't just start feeling like you couldn't trust her, you should have been feeling like that when she went speaking to your ass. So at this point, are you
Okay.
if this is how you feel about this person, why do you want to be friends with it? It doesn't make sense.
It was the dramatic line that Whitney threw out. What did she say? How do you expect me to feel after all the things that you've done to me to hurt me or something like that? I'm like, oh, girl. She didn't talk to you for 3 episodes. That hurt you? Like, my God.
And I'm thinking, like, what did she do to you? She just didn't
Who wrote these
acknowledge
lines?
you.
Who wrote these lines?
Like Demetrio says, full on soap opera. It was definitely given.
It was very.
Times
It was
of our
giving
lives, passions,
not passions, very passions.
All of those,
very after Salem or whatever the Peacock series is that Lisa Rinna is on.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond Salem.
And then small mention of Coach Shah and Jen. Honestly, Coach Shah lived in the phone last season, but this season he is very present, and I'm so glad because Coach Shah looked so good. I mean, I was like, dang, like he
Coach
was
Shah
training
is very
his son.
handsome.
And this was very awkward to see.
That was awkward.
What's her name come out there and like, you don't want mommy to come do this, and he was
I'm like, this is a 17, 18-year-old boy, man now, 18, 19-year-old man. Don't call yourself mommy. That's so weird.
My thing is like, I mean, I don't want a criminal coming to school for me. Sorry, mommy, no. No, I'm sorry. I don't want you to come to school. No. That is their child. From my understanding, the other son is not through Coach Shah. Is it through Coach Shah? The first one, the older one?
Well, he's black, so he has to be from Coach Shah because it ain't gonna be from Jen.
Well, he looks really like Coach Shah. I don't know the older one. I don't really know who he looks like.
Wait, do they have 3? He was on last season. He looks like the brother. He looks like Coach Shah. Both of them look like Coach Shah. None of them look like Jen. Thank God.
Thank God. No.
Thank God. Lord Farquaad.
Something out there with her little golf pig legs. Some.
Okay.
Can we go?
They look like Jen Shah looks like a character from Minecraft. Like she just got a square ass head and a Lego body.
Of the not Incredibles. Was the Incredibles kind of like the mama, but not so great? It's like
Jen Shah is not thick and juicy. Don't do that.
No, it's like the Unincredibles. It's like it ain't really incredible.
The mediocre.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
But my whole thoughts on that season, she's like, I have to rebuild trust with my son. I was like, for what? Like, what did you do? She's like, because
jail.
I was there when my dad was dying. I was like, and your son doesn't understand that your dad was dying? Like, what is going on? But she's so awkward. I don't like that woman at all. Coach Shaw's better off without her. He needs to pack up and leave. So when she gets out of jail, she comes back to an empty house and he needs to change the number.
Yeah.
Start a new life with me. I'll be a stepmom.
With you?
I won't make you call me mommy.
Wow. So you saying Coach Shaw only goes for non-black women? Okay, gotcha. I get it.
I am a colored woman.
You're right. You are actually right. As Jen said,
as Jen Shaw said, I'm a colored woman.
You are right. You are right. So and then
this doesn't rinse off when I get in the shower, unlike her.
Child. I don't know what comes off of her. I don't even want to know what I don't even want to see her taking a shower. So let's talk about Jennie. This was actually kind of sad, and we talked about it. I think last week or the week before last. But basically, her husband is still pressuring her to have more kids. So I kept trying to get the numbers right, but yes, I think I mentioned that she
said she had 11 miscarriages. Jesus,
I thought so. She had 13 pregnancies. I thought she has 3 kids. And one she had in past, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So that means she had a total of 9 miscarriages and one. So she would have had 4 kids if one had to live. That's the one that they had. She was sedated for. Basically, the fact that we already discussing that amount of miscarriages on a woman, and she still was able to have 3 kids. Still, like that's crazy.
And seeing her husband push her, I wonder how many miscarriages she had in between those children. and how much of those were her wanting to continue to try to get pregnant, and how much was him still pushing her, let's try again, let's try again. Because
You shouldn't even
there
need to
had,
explain. It's not even enough
yeah,
to explain.
like
I can't even have kids.
one miscarriage is enough, but your wife has gone through 9 and she's delivered a child who passed away an hour later, and you're still talking
And
about
you have three. You
more
have
fucking
three.
kids?
There are women that can't even not have one. You know what I'm saying? So he has, and then okay, we gonna get there.
Look, sorry.
I'm just gonna
We
say
getting ahead, and now I'm mad. Now you got me mad.
they came on this show to get a divorce or get something because
And
that man is crazy. It makes me wonder what is their marriage like. I mean,
well, and which is why I bring up, how many miscarriages she had in between kids? Because I know a few of my friends who have had miscarriages, and they're like, I can't try again. I can't try again for a couple of years. I can't do that. But I can see he's clearly in pain. Like he's clearly traumatized by
is
it.
he in pain? See, that's
I
it. See,
mean,
that's where I'm
he sat
conflicted
there.
because
He sat there and was telling the story and started crying. But people deal with pain differently. He's so stoic that he's just like, all right, well, we're just going to move through it. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to have another kid. That's the solution. And it's like, oh, sir, that's not the solution. You need to go to therapy immediately.
personally, he's go through therapy, and I don't honestly. His pain to me is like it doesn't exist if he's continuing to push her to have more kids. If she's
I want to know why he wants more kids. Why does he want more kids?
Well, let's talk about the reason. The reason was that he wants more kids to replenish the earth. He wants to save the world, bring prosperity, unity, all that shit. I added the last part, but basically he did say to replenish, this earth.
Yeah.
And we are the people, we are the children. I want to save all
now
of
we
mankind.
are the world.
Whatever the hell he said, child. He act like he is I Am Legend. Stop it. First of all, stop it. Like you have 3 kids. Leave this lady alone. She
leave this lady alone.
So I was wondering all the time when he said, like, why wouldn't he say, okay, well, let's try a surrogate. Then it came. Then that's when it came to her. She was just like, well, then why do we want more kids to raise? At this point, it's not really about my health. Now it's like, okay, do we want more kids? And we have 3. What is the issue? Then he says, let's get a sister wife. Oh, she got upset then, honey. In other words, like
rightfully so.
Woman? Oh, he's lost it. I would have said.
I think ultimately that was his main reason from the fucking get-go. Because obviously this isn't the first time that they've had, because she's brought up multiple times. We've talked about this before. I don't want kids. This was just a way for him to get from point A to point C, and point C being sister wife pussy. That's all that he wants. It is so selfish and inconsiderate to sit there while your wife is literally telling you, I was not lucid enough to mourn my daughter that passed away. And like you're sitting here pressuring me to have more children, and then your solution is, okay, well, you don't have to do it. I'll get another woman pregnant.
She said, look, she literally said, hell no.
This is why women kill. This is why women snap.
Well, I love
if she were to kill that man, not you would love that show. If she were to kill that man in his sleep, I'd put money on her books.
Child. I mean, did you watch what's the show called? Dirty John, the Betty whatever story?
They were gaslighting the fuck out of Connie Britton.
I supported Betty. I was like, you know what, Betty, he deserved it. He deserved it. And so in this case, I just feel like
a woman's right. Sometimes a woman is right when she kills
that he wants to. If you can sit there and you can come up, we can say how this affected you. It doesn't. But the thing is, his answer to everything is, I just want more kids. I just want more kids. It's not even, he doesn't even have a valid reason. And so at that point, it's like, I wouldn't even talk to him anymore. I'd be like, I'm not going to talk to you about this anymore. Like, you can't even give me a real reason, because there is no real reason. We have 3 kids. Okay. They are, I mean, come on now, 3 kids. And how old is she now? How old is Jennie? She's probably like in 40s, maybe 50s.
Probably 40s. And her kids are great. And the interesting thing, after that conversation, I went back and I thought about the interactions that they show with the kids and Jennie. That man don't interact with them kids. It's always Jennie interacting, and that man somewhere in the background, just like sitting around watching. He doesn't talk to the kids. He doesn't play with the kids. He doesn't do anything with his kids. And his kids all seem like, obviously that daughter is a fucking little star, like making jokes, and she's got a personality as big as anything. Like, why would you not be engaging with these 3 kids, particularly if your wife has already had 9 miscarriages? Like,
Yeah.
you would think that, oh my God, these are my gifts. The kids are my gifts. Why wouldn't I want to cherish what I already
No,
have?
child. He wants more
You want
kids.
more?
He wants to save all of mankind. That is
Look,
his.
this ain't Noah's Ark. This ain't Noah's Ark. You don't
I
need to
am
put two by
legend.
twos.
His kids have the key to kill all cruelty. His kids are the cure to COVID. His kids
Well, I
are
believe
the
that.
cure.
The daughter gonna make you laugh. The little girl gonna make you laugh. She's a little cutie.
Well, he need to stop. He needs to stop. He needs to shut up. And I'm glad that she walked off. Now I hope she stands in that and makes him be like, you are crazy, and just gives him the cold shoulder. Don't give him no but JJ. Don't give him nothing.
At
Because
all.
it's just like you're. I think so. Kenny
It
said
was so
if he
callous.
didn't make the sister wife come in, I could feel sorry. Personally,
Yeah.
I couldn't. No, I didn't feel sorry because I'm like he's still constantly saying let's have more kids. That is as a woman. I'm not a woman, so I can't really speak to it like that. But I feel as though
But you a
women,
bitch.
women obviously you need a man to have a baby, but women the process that they go through and everything they do, like they make it happen. So you should
Yeah.
at this point respect what she wants. You got 3, call it a day. I'm sorry.
Well, if it's anything men have done over the course of history, it's not consider women in any kind of decision making. So the fact that he doesn't give a shit that his wife is traumatized, I mean, it kind of tracks.
Yeah, I'm sending the link into the chat for anyone to join the live because we have basically talked about everything in this episode, chat. Episode 6 wasn't much going on. Now, next episode,
Looks good.
okay, because I don't
Jennie
know if
gonna
it
put
looks
Miss Mary
good.
in her place.
It just, huh?
Jennie put Miss Mary in her place.
I don't know because Mary said, "Don't you."
Don't say that word.
In
She
other
goes, I don't
words,
care.
don't talk to no black lady like that. That's what she basically said. I'm like,
uh-huh. Jennie said, I'm
Mary.
tired of y'all fucking fighting. Shut the fuck up. Let's go. Damn. Let's go have fun. We're in a pandemic.
See, but see that explains, Jennie and Mary. So Jennie and Mary is obviously into it with Jennie. She's into
everybody.
it with Whitney. She's into it with Heather. So I don't know.
She gets into it with Lisa at the beginning of that scene. That's why Jennie's screaming.
Yeah,
like she fighting with Lisa.
I'm like,
Mary,
Mary,
you never come around the group. How are you fighting with everybody? Maybe you're the problem.
Oh,
you're the common denominator, Mary.
Don't say that because I don't need Jesus cutting off my live now. We got
look. Jesus know where I'm at. He's fine.
This is a safe zone. God, don't do this. Okay, so I have to join the live, and it is M. Welcome to the lane. Oh, welcome back to the lane again, M. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Lovely.
Great.
Okay, so I think I'm in the minority because I think Whitney is more of a villain than Lisa. You know what I mean? Because
you're not the minority on that.
I just
feel, think that.
Yeah, I think Lisa is just a really she's one of those people, like, unless you've known her for years, I don't think she comes across as likable or warm. She's
not warm or fuzzy at all.
Clinical. And I think that Whitney comes across as like this doe-eyed, like maiden that you need to save. And her and Heather, they play up the whole, even though they're both attacking Lisa, they come across like, I think they know that Lisa's they know how to push her buttons. So they always go like, I don't understand why you don't like us. And Lisa's like, because you're doing these things to me. You're talking smack about me. You're making people, you're turning lifelong friends against me. You know what I mean? Like, they tried so hard with Meredith, like episode 1, they're like, why are you still friends with Lisa? I would never be friends, even though Heather is friends with Jen now. And yet, like, what the hypocrisy? I'm like, Jen, so it's Heather, you're okay. You can be friends with Meredith and thingy, but Lisa can't. It's just like, I feel bad for her. And I just think that she needs to learn how to like be better socially, I guess. But I love Lisa. I think her like no nonsense attitude. I like the fact that she does not care about these women. And and also the Dewey situation. I do agree that if he had not put up the whole sister wife thingy, because he first said we could like do surrogacy, we could adopt, you know what I mean? He threw out the adoption. I'm always like, I think people who always, especially men who want more kids, the fact that adoption was an option was very like, I was like, that's, I don't know why she's against that. There are children, he said, there are toddlers who will never get adopted because, again, they're toddlers. If you're not a baby, nobody wants you. Even a 2-year-old is undesirable in the foster system and in the adoption system. And I'm like, she could have, yeah, a 2-year-old, they're basically almost out of diapers. They're walking, they're talking. They need a good home. And I do think that, you know, the fact that like she shut it down, he's not saying like you're going to go and have more babies. You know, if we can't have them physically, then let's do surrogacy. She's like, I don't even know if my eggs are working. Then let's do adoption. And then I was like, I was on his side. And then when he said sister wife, I was like, no, you've lost me. You know?
Do you see this coming here? You see the comment. So Chase with Irving Brown with Chase, basically like it comes down to she does not. So the first moment, yes, but then when he started mentioning adoption, he started mentioning surrogacy. You know, I feel like that was kind of a cheap way to kind of still convince her, because I feel like he used that. You know, it was kind of, in my eyes, it was kind of manipulative. You know what I'm saying? I understand, but I don't think he was as sincere. He doesn't care about toddlers that need raising. He wants another child in his house. And I think she just doesn't want any more kids. She don't want to go through the part of it, having it, and she don't want to raise it. I mean, most parents, like my mom, she got to a point, she was like, I don't want no more. She at that point.
Yeah, I think
well, and they're probably more sick. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say about the adoption thing. I don't think this is a conversation this is the first time they're having it on national TV. I think it's for one of two things. I think one, it's a storyline, which is clever and smart because like, you know, like that's gonna make air. And I think two, if they've had this discussion before, like I do think like he wants more kids and she doesn't want more kids. And I think like I understand her right. It's her right to say, I don't want no kids. I don't want to raise no kids. But it's also his right to be like, I'm not done. You know what I mean? And I think it's one of those things like if you're not careful and you don't like really go to counseling and therapy, then it's really going to be bad. Because like if he's like, I'm never not going to give up this dream of having kids, then I think like maybe this is like the end of their marriage. And in Housewives, let's be honest, this show, I'm surprised anyone is married. They're all, other than Lisa, they all talk openly about their marriages. Like, these are the problems we're having. And I'm like, are you crazy? Your husband did not sign up for the show.
That's why I said the real unhappy housewives, because everybody, this episode was very clear that these women are unhappy in their marriage.
They're unhappy. Lisa's the only one. And that's why I like Lisa, because let's be honest, her and her husband, like what I like the reunion, when she ran out of the stage and she's like, I need John. And then the party last week where her friend of 20 years threw her under the bus to get airtime. She was like, where's John? And I love that John.
That's exactly how she sounded. Where's John?
That's exactly what she sounded like. Where's John?
It's like I think that's so healthy. And I think that's like the fact that like you could see her moments that she does have a softness when it comes to her husband, and like, you know, like they lean on each other. I don't see Whitney ever running for her husband, you know. You never see Meredith's like, I don't care, where's my son, if anything, you know.
Okay.
You know, Lisa's
not
the
even
only one.
Daughter. She don't even call her daughter. She called Miss Brooks.
Yeah, she is all about Brooks. Em, I gotta let you go though. I got somebody to get on. Okay?
Bye guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Em. Where's John?
Where's John? That's what she does.
That's perfect.
Welcome to the lean, Demisio.
Hey, Demisio.
How you doing?
Hey, guys. I just want to say, I agree with y'all whole assessment about, you know, Whitney and Lisa. I was kind of expecting Lisa to have a little bit more bite as well, but Whitney was kind of, you know, gathering her. And also, Lisa, maybe it's just me, but does Lisa to y'all remind y'all of Heather Dubrow?
Yeah.
From Orange County?
Did we say that before? I think we did. Somebody said that. We did last season. We did a whole assessment.
Personality-wise,
Shah has a really good description of Lisa. I feel like he said it many times, but yes, I think we've said that before.
Yes, but she definitely reminds me of her. And can we just give Brooks a snowflake at this point?
No. No. Why?
He's a friend of the show. He's a friend.
He has way more going on than Meredith at this point.
He needs
Well,
to,
I
if he
don't know.
wants a snowflake, he needs to come out of the closet that
Thank
his mother thinks that he's in.
Obvious. That's why I'm trying to think about it. We're just like, it's clear that Brooks is one of the girls, so it's just like, but I mean, it may be a battle that he's battling within his.
Right.
So, who is anyone to just make those assumptions? But I was kind of enjoying Meredith coming out the Jen. I wish she would have lasted a little longer because I think she deserved it.
It's coming back.
It's coming back. Oh, they're not done yet.
Meredith's
gonna drag
that
woman.
You seen the trailer, right?
No, I don't think I've seen the trailer.
Oh,
go watch the trailer.
Baby.
You'll see it's gonna get really ugly.
This is why we're finding the season so boring because we know what's gonna happen.
Right. We know that it's about to spice up and things like But yeah.
But yes, I'm here for Meredith taking Jen down. I'm here for it. And just Mary, chat. I don't even got nothing to say about Mary. I don't even got nothing to say. She just is a mess. Her and her mannequin head. The mess. But that's all I had to say.
Okay. Thank you for letting into BC. We'll
talk
to you, all right? Okay. Well, I mean, fair episode, wasn't great, wasn't terrible. Had some moments enough to discuss. I'm gonna tell you this: we gonna always lean in, but if it ain't nothing to talk about, we would not be.
We're gonna tell you.
But we ain't
gonna force it.
Right, we ain't gonna force it. For the most part, they've been. I think what they've been doing is, and I guess it works because if you think about Beverly Hills, the first half of it was really Crystal and Sutton. And then Erica's situation kind of got better towards the second half. But I will say Crystal and Sutton and the ugly little pants and everything, that was a lot more entertaining than Whitney versus Lisa, in my opinion. Like Lisa and Whitney are not going there. They could really intensify this. But I also think what's missing is that there is not a lot of group scenes. They're not getting a lot of group scenes. And that is what I've always said about Atlanta. I noticed that any Housewives show, the group scenes is where it goes down.
It goes off. And absolutely.
We're seeing a lot of Mary with Robert. We're seeing Jennie and her husband, Mary with Meredith, they playing tennis, like group scenes. We need group scenes.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a little tweet where it was like, it's funny how there hasn't been many group scenes, but they happen to slide this in here. And they was talking about the husband's group scene last season. Waste of space, Bravo. Waste of space.
I mean, that's a good point that you make that you would, what's her name? Whitney and Lisa could probably go a lot harder. But the fact of the matter is they're not going harder is because their feud or whatever literally is non-existent. Neither one of them have done anything worth arguing over.
It's not
point,
but
they're two completely different people.
If Angie was around more, and
she's coming back next episode.
I guarantee you, if they had that event, and then they had a group scene the next episode, they would not be where they are now. It would have. That's what I'm saying. Like they need, because the group is somebody's going to bring it out. You know what I'm saying? The dynamic between Heather and Lisa. I'm sure Heather would say something, or it would have come up, and it would have intensified. So yeah.
I high key want Angie to come back and just go full, like, for all you Jersey Housewives fans, I want her to go full Kim G. Just like shit stirrer, messy starter. Like she's friends of everybody, but she's a bitch to everybody behind their back as well. That's what I want Angie to do. Stir that pot, girl. You already sold your friend out of 20 years. You might as well go full villain. Come on. That's what we want to see at this point.
She did it, and it's not, you know what? Sure, she sold her friend out, right? But when she did it, she just looked. She didn't have anything to say. She just said, it was just like she didn't have anything to say. It was like, if you create mess, like you need to stay in it, and you need to find a way to, even if you're wrong on Housewives, you always want to make it seem like you're not. That you're right. That's because you know what I'm saying.
So that way you can apologize
gaslight somebody. I mean, she could have sat there and made Lisa look completely crazy. Lisa is great at what she does, but it gets to a point where she gets flustered so easily. Exactly. So it wouldn't have been hard to come at Lisa and kind of make her get more flustered. Child, I don't know, but whatever. Like she said, "Where's John?" she found John and she won the argument. She found Meredith and then she found John and then she won the argument. So yeah,
she went to grab Meredith. Meredith, tell him our friendship is good.
I'm gonna start saying it. Jamie, tell them we're good. Tell them.
Tell them we're good.
Okay, well, that's pretty much all we have for this episode. Like I said, light episode. Of course, if you're watching right now, be sure to like this video. Like. Don't forget to like. And of course, tomorrow we'll be here for Potomac at 8:30 Eastern time, live, of course. Beverly Hills. We had a really good time for Beverly Hills last Wednesday, and we're gonna have an even better time this Wednesday for part 2 of Beverly Hills Reunion. And we have another game too. So I think the game was fun last time. The game kind of gagged Jamie.
The people were enjoying
the game.
Look, you fun. Had me.
But there, you know what? I
had to contact my lawyer. I had to contact my lawyer just to make sure that we were good. I said, could I potentially be sued? Is there liability on me for this? Me and Chad had a secret meeting after the episode. We had a secret meeting.
Oh, well, Chad's not here today to defend himself, so that's okay.
Okay, it's all right. He didn't want to be in this environment.
Child. Well, thank y'all for watching tonight. That concludes all for Salt Lake City. See y'all tomorrow for Potomac, or Wednesday for what's it called? See, I can't think what it's called.
Or both.
Wednesday for Beverly Hills. Next Sunday, Salt Lake City will not be happening because next week is my birthday and I will be out of town. So we'll post the updates for which we'll probably do Salt Lake City and Potomac, but Salt Lake City and Potomac next week, not tomorrow, will not be happening because it's my birthday. So again,
the big 40.
40, please. I'm barely even 33. 32, honey. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all next time for The Lean. Have a good night.